Good afternoon, my fellow Communications 101 classmates. I am Emily Moody, and today I'll be focusing on how to read and write music. Now, the cool thing is, when you know how to read music, you can actually write music too. And I found that reading music and writing music, and then playing music even, is a really good stress reliever. So I thought maybe I'd share that with you guys. I've been playing the piano for about 8 years now, and I've been reading the music and writing music for even longer. So I'm pretty well versed in how it goes. So first, I will be starting us off with rhythm. We have these things called time signatures, right? Now, time signatures are two numbers on top of each other that tell us how many beats are in each measure and what note gets the beat. Now notice there's no line in between the two numbers. Okay, it isn't a fraction. We wouldn't call this 4/4 time. Instead, we would call it 4/4 time. There are other ones like 6/8 and 3/4, but we're going to be focusing on 4/4 today. So the top number tells us that there are 4 beats in a measure, and then the bottom number tells us what note gets the beat. Now, when you see 4 on the bottom of a time signature, it's always going to mean that the quarter note gets the beat. You'll understand what a quarter note is a little better in a second. So in this case, there's 4 beats in a measure, and then the quarter note gets the beat. Now, we have different kinds of notes that have different note values. For example, we have whole notes, which are worth 4 clicks. So if I counted off on a metronome, it would sound like, so I'll give you 4 beats and then I'll start 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So all 4 of those clicks equals one whole note. Now, half notes equal 2 clicks. So if I counted off, it would be 1, 3. And I didn't say 2 or 4 because one half note takes up 2 of those beats. So it would be 1, 3. And you can count in your head 1, 2, 3, 4. But there's 2 half notes for every 4 beats. And then down here we have quarter notes. And in 4/4 time, if a quarter note gets the beat, then a quarter note is 1 click on the metronome. So for example, I'll count off the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I have a little practice rhythm down here. As you can see, we're in 4/4 time. And earlier I talked about beats per measure. Right here is a measure line that divides each measure. So in 4/4 time, if we have 4 beats in a measure, then we put a measure line after every 4 beats. So if we're going to count this rhythm, it would sound like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Notice that for the half note, I didn't say 2 when I was counting down here because it takes up both of the notes. So I'll say it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Okay? So that's all for our rhythm section. Now, I want to introduce you to the treble clef. Okay? This is what it looks like. It has many different names, but I'll mainly be referring to it as the treble clef. When reading the treble clef, there are certain things to remember when finding out what notes are what. So I have a treble clef written right here, and as you can see, the spaces in the treble clef, we always read it bottom to top, is F, A, C, E. And then the lines are E, G, B, D, and F. Now, one way you can remember this is the spaces spell your face, right? Because we have the spaces spell out face, bottom to top. And then an acronym would be every good boy does fine for the lines, right? Because we have E, G, B, D, and F. Every good boy does fine. So, for example, and I have some notes written on a treble clef staff right here. I put X's because I didn't want to confuse anybody with the note values. But, so if this X was a note right here, it would be F, because F, A, C, E spells the spaces, and it's on the first space, so we have F. This one would be D, because every good boy does fine, and it's on does, so that means it's D. And then we have E right here, F-A-C-E with face, and then we have C right here, F-A-C-E, and it's on the C. Okay? Now, I will say that with any type of clef, the lines and the spaces on the top and the bottom do extend, and I will explain that right now. We call the notes that extend on the staff ledger lines, and that basically just means that it keeps going down. So, for example, this space right here would be D below the E, and then we keep going down, and there's a C right here, and it can keep going lower or higher. All you'll need to know for today is that it extends down to C. So, right here, I drew out what a keyboard would look like. Every C is before this like pairs of black notes. I'm not going to explain what the black notes are right now, but just remember that every C is before one pair of black notes. Don't get it confused with the 3 black notes. That's something different. But every C starts with the 2, or comes before the pair of black notes. So, if you wanted to put it all together, let's look at this. Ready? We're in 4/4 time, and we have some notes written out with note values and pitches. So, first I would identify what or how many counts each note in the measure gets. Notice our measure line right here. So, if we're in 4/4 time, this is a quarter note, this is a quarter note, this is a quarter note, and this is a quarter note. That means that each note gets 1 beat. So if we count this rhythm, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then I would identify the notes. So if we notice, there's ledger lines at the bottom of this, right? So we have to count down from E. We have to go E, D, C is that line right there. So we have C, we have another C, and then every good, that's a G, and that's a G. So, if I wanted to count out the rhythm and just say the notes, here's what it would sound like. C, C, G, G. Okay? Now, if we apply that to the piano, right here, we just plug in what those notes are. So I have a piano right in front of me, and it would sound like this. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? I don't know. I got another one right here. Let's look at this one. So we're still in 4/4 time. This is just a little continuation of this. Okay? We're still in 4/4 time. We have 2 quarter notes and a half note. So that's 1, 1, and that has 2. So if we count this out, we have 1, 2, 3, right? Because that holds those 2 notes. And then if we find out what notes these are, we have F, A, C, E. Those first notes land on the A, so those 2 notes are A. and then every good. So that's a G, right? So if I were to play this, it would sound like this. Okay? Now, if you'll notice, we can put these together and it sounds like a song that everyone knows. So let's figure out what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, C, G, G, A, G. It's Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So there you go. There's a little introduction to reading music. Like I said, once you can read music, you can write music. And if you are a creatively expressive person, I think that writing music is a really great way to not only express yourself, but relieve stress. I know that as a college student, we can get really overwhelmed with everything, whether it's school or work or family life. And I just want to extend a little tool that I've learned over the years. Thank you so much.